My daughter waved at me with a big smile as the train left. It had been about 2 months since she last saw my husband, so she was really excited to visit him. As soon as she got on the train, I sent my husband a message. About 4 hours after I got home, my daughter called me. I had told her to call when she arrived, so I thought she was just letting me know. "Hello, Sarah, did you make it to San Francisco and meet your dad?" But instead of a happy reply, she sounded upset. "Mom, can you come pick me up, please?" What's wrong?" "I didn't get to see Dad." "What do you mean?" "I don't know, I haven't heard from him, and when I went to his house, some strange woman turned me away." "What?" "My name is Elizabeth, I have a family of 3, my husband, Henry, and our 11-year-old daughter, Sarah. I got pregnant with Sarah while I was still in college, so now, at 32, I've been a housewife for years. After she was born, my parents helped me finish school. Life wasn't easy at first because we married young, but Henry always said he had planned to marry me anyway. After graduating, Henry got a good job at a big company, his salary was decent, and we got to live in company housing, so we never struggled with money. We didn't have a romantic honeymoon phase, but we were happy. Our daughter brought us so much joy that it didn't matter. Henry loved Sarah and spent weekends taking care of her. Thanks to him, I got time to relax and see my friends. I felt lucky and had no complaints. Years passed, and Sarah started elementary school. By then, Henry had been working for the company for 7 years and got promoted. He worked longer hours but still made time for family trips on weekends. I thought life would stay this happy forever. But then, everything changed. One day, Henry's company decided to transfer him. Before, he had always refused to move because Sarah was young, but now that she was 11, that excuse wouldn't work anymore. This transfer was important for his career, and we had to accept it. His company was big, and they could replace him, but if he wanted to move up, he had to take this job. With Sarah soon going to junior high and high school, we knew we'd need more money for her education, so I agreed to the transfer, hoping it would help his career. The assignment was supposed to last 6 months. That didn't seem too long. Sarah was sad about not seeing her dad as much, but he promised to call her every day and visit on weekends. He reassured her, saying, "I'll always make time for you." Sarah believed him. She smiled and said, "I'll miss you, Daddy, but I'll be okay." So, my daughter and I sent him off with smiles on our faces. But now, standing on the phone, hearing her scared voice, I realized something was very wrong. About 3 days later, my husband called on a video chat and talked with our daughter for a long time. He called before she even had a chance to miss him. I laughed, thinking he seemed more like the child. It was heartwarming to see them chatting happily. I could tell they were really close. On the first weekend, he was too busy to visit, but the next week, he made time and came home on Friday. I was so grateful that, even with his busy schedule, he still made time for us. Our daughter was overjoyed to have dinner with him after so long. But after about 2 months, my husband started acting differently. At first, he would call Sarah every 3 days, but slowly, the calls became less frequent until he stopped calling altogether. I knew he was busy with work and had to take care of everything by himself. I also figured he was probably going out with colleagues after work. I didn't want to pressure him, so I didn't push him to call. But then, he barely contacted us at all. He came home less and less. I told Sarah that her dad was just busy, but I could see how sad she was, even if she didn't say it. Eventually, I asked my husband to at least call her for 5 minutes. He just said, "Oh, I'm sorry," but still didn't call. Sarah's birthday was coming up on Saturday. I hoped he would surprise us by coming home. She also thought, maybe Daddy will come home. But on her birthday, he didn't come. He didn't even call. Sarah was heartbroken. I was furious. I called him over and over, but he didn't answer. He never returned my calls either. Finally, after the 5th call, he picked up. "What's wrong? You've been calling a lot. What are you doing?" "What?" "It was Sarah's birthday today. It's Saturday, and you didn't come? You didn't even call her." "Oh, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry about that." Sarah had been waiting to see him. "Tell her I'm really sorry and happy birthday." That was all he said. No matter how much I argued, he just kept apologizing. Frustrated, I hung up, but I was still angry, so I sent him a message. "Please think about your daughter and take better care of her. I know you're busy, but this is just too much." All he replied was, "I understand, I'm sorry." Nothing changed after that. Another month passed, summer vacation started, and one day, Sarah told me, "If Dad won't come to see me, I'll go see him." Since summer vacation started, my daughter had been saying every day that she wanted to visit her dad. I decided to let her go alone this time. She was excited for a new experience and really wanted to see him. We live in Los Angeles, and my husband is in San Francisco. It's an easy train ride. I would drive her to the station, and my husband agreed to pick her up on the other end. Finally, she could see her dad again after 2 long months. On Saturday, I took her to the station and saw her off. She waved at me with a big smile as the train left. She must have been looking forward to this so much. After she got on the train, I sent my husband a message. 4 hours later, I got a call from her. It was noon, so I assumed she had already met her dad and had lunch. "Hello, Sarah, did you meet up with your father?" But instead of excitement, she sounded upset. "Mom, please come pick me up." What's wrong?" "I didn't see Dad." "What do you mean?" "I don't know, I haven't heard from him, and when I went to his house, some strange woman told me to leave." "What?" I couldn't believe what I was hearing, but first, I needed to get to my daughter. "Where are you now?" "I'm back at the station. I'm going to a fast food place to wait." I rushed to the station, got a ticket, and took the train to San Francisco. When I arrived, I saw my daughter's face, and she looked like she was about to cry. I took her to a nearby cafe and ordered pancakes to cheer her up. She seemed a little better after eating, so I asked her what happened. She told me that when she arrived, she couldn't reach her dad. She waited for 30 minutes, but he never showed up, so she decided to go to his house on her own. Since I had given her his address just in case, she used her phone to find the way easily. When she got there and rang the doorbell, a woman answered. "Who are you?" Sarah was shocked but managed to say, "I'm here to see my dad." But the woman told her, "Go home, you can't see him, you're in the way." Then she hung up without even opening the door. So, my daughter had no choice but to return to the station. I was furious. "If she told you not to see your dad, then we won't." I took my daughter home and immediately started packing to move out. When I told my parents what happened, they were furious too. They offered to let us stay with them until I could find a job. Later, my husband called. "I didn't see Sarah at the station. Did something happen?" I guess his girlfriend didn't tell him she turned his daughter away, but since he never even tried calling Sarah, I doubted he had gone to the station at all. I decided to play along. "Sarah got sick on the way there and had to come home. I just took her to the hospital. Sorry I couldn't call earlier." He just replied, "I see, I understand." That was it, no concern, no follow-up. I ended the conversation quickly. I was beyond angry, but I didn't have time to waste on him. His life was falling apart, and I was done trying to fix it. After that, I was ready to teach my husband a lesson. First, I packed up his things and sent them to his address. Then, I received the results of the investigation I had ordered from a detective agency, with solid proof of his affair. I sent everything, including a certified letter, to his workplace. A few days later, everything must have reached him. Then, my phone rang. It was my husband, furious. "What the hell are you doing?" "Oh, just letting everyone know what you've been up to." "You've got to be kidding me, this is a huge problem." Of course, that was the point. "And why did you send my stuff here? I don't need it, and I don't pay rent there anymore." "Oh, Sarah and I moved out of that apartment." "What? When?" "A month ago." "What? So no one's been living there, but we were still paying rent? Is that why I've been getting calls from an unknown number? If we lose that place, where am I supposed to go when I return to LA? You sent that letter to my company, they found out about my affair, and now they're transferring someone else to take my place. I have to move back to LA now, and I don't even have a place to live." I almost laughed. My plan had worked even better than expected, but I kept my cool. "You hurt Sarah and me. Now, you're paying the price, and it's not over yet. I'm filing for divorce, and I'll be demanding alimony and child support." "Oh no. Let's handle this through our lawyers." Then, I hung up. I hired a lawyer, and everything moved forward just as I planned. The divorce went smoothly, and I won both alimony from my ex-husband and compensation from the woman he cheated with. He also had to pay child support. Meanwhile, his company treated him like a joke. He became the laughingstock of the office. Female employees looked down on him, and his chances of getting promoted were gone. But he couldn't quit, he had to keep paying me. As for Sarah, she lost all respect for him. When he apologized and asked to see her, she refused. He got exactly what he deserved. Now, I have a new job, and my daughter and I live happily in our own apartment. I'm working hard to give her the best life possible and watching her grow. Life is good.